Good morning. It is early Mother's Day, Sunday, the 12th of May, 2019. This is the Bull Market Watch channel, and we're going to jump in today and take a look at Bitcoin, Ethereum, Litecoin, and Lumens on our top watch. Prices are on a blow-off, takeoff, and eventually that's going to top out. So we're watching for that. Let's jump into the chart. First, we'll start off with a quick look at our disclaimer. You can pause the video to read through that or click on a link in the description below. This isn't trading advice, it is just market observation. I don't trade based on the commentaries put on here, and I recommend that you don't do that either. Use it as part of your studies. Let's jump right into these four charts. I'm not sure if anybody will be up at this time of the morning from the US, but I'm hoping that this might help reach out to some more of a European audience, more of an Australian audience, because at 5:15 in the morning on a Sunday, it's not usually the North Americans that are going to be up. Now, what I'm looking at here is Bitcoin US dollar, Litecoin US dollar, Ethereum US dollar, and Stellar Lumens US dollar, all of them in the 5-minute chart. And we can see that last night's run up of Bitcoin was sort of matched with Ethereum in the US dollar value, but not so much this last little bit of a run. Same thing with Litecoin. It didn't come up with the same amount of power as Bitcoin did. And so then if we switch over to the Litecoin versus Bitcoin chart, we can see Litecoin has faded back versus Bitcoin more from this top to this top. And same with Ethereum. From this top to this top now, we've gone back. So will this continue to go up along with Bitcoin? I'm expecting it, actually, even though we've had this pulled back and we've had this divergence, which is an eye-opener to be watching for the top formation. It gives us more evidence that a top formation could be coming in. This could be the blowout. It could be that the Bitcoin dominance is just going to crush these down as well. But I was anticipating that Litecoin and Ethereum, because they're in these massive bottom formations and just making the initial part of the breakout, I was thinking that they were going to be following along with Bitcoin as we're taking off. And so what I want to do in this episode is to zoom into the indicators under these markets and see what they're telling us so that we have that review. Hey, Commander, good to have you here. I didn't even announce this in our in our channel, so let me do that. Going live, and what did I title this? So, is the Bitcoin dominance going to decimate the altcoins? It is what people are saying. Jump over to the Bitcoin dominance chart here. We can see that our parallel trend lines were blown away, and the Bitcoin dominance has gone up above that. So it's increasing in its speed. It is also parabolic. So we can see the parabolic or the parabola type of shape when we do these highs, and from here to here. Does it do another one for me? From here to here, from here to here, from here to here. Each one has a different slope to the line, an increasing slope. Eventually, it can't go straight up forever. It has to find a top. However, Bitcoin dominance, if we go out to a longer term perspective, Bitcoin dominance, oh, I cleared that all off. It has no support and resistance. Once it starts breaking above these levels, altcoins could be in serious trouble. The Bitcoin could be really heading down. And there was a comment in our Discord chat. If you want to talk about cryptos all day long, click on the link in the description below and you can go to our Discord chat and join us there. I'm scrolling back to say that Bitcoin took 45 days to hit $20,000 after it first tested $6,900. So if we go to the 5-year view of Bitcoin, so after it hit the $6,900 level, it took 45 days for it to go up to $20,000. So it's not inconceivable at all that we could be doing another retrace up to the 50% level of this whole move. Just as a basic technical analysis rule. And look where that happens to hit. You know, it's amazing how Fibonacci's do that. And I don't know if it's like a horoscope where you read a horoscope and it's amazing how it fits your life, but really it's so general that it could fit pretty much everybody's life. So I don't know if it's like a horoscope or if this is for real, but the 50% I do pay attention to. So let's see. Now I'm going to go into the indicators and see if what is going on is under here. Commander 747. So where in the world are you from? Yes, it's really 5 o'clock in the morning. I get up at 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning all the time. Head to bed at 8:30, 9 o'clock. Up early in the morning. I like the quiet. Get things, it's most productive time of the morning. So we're going to go over the indicators for these 4 charts. Australia. G'day, mate. There's my Canadian accent for an Australian. Bitfinex, Ethereum, US dollar. It's for me, this looks like it's going to be going huge, like doubling in price. This bottom formation looks massive to me, and this breakout looks like crazy. As soon as I get this thing to draw. Have I got too many of these open in too many places? All right, so here we are at the 12-hour view. On balance volume is looking good. It's breaking out of this formation that is massive. So when I zoom into the 1-week view, and I can see it consolidating in a potential top formation here, after the long-term view, then this top formation looks like a consolidation ready to go higher. It doesn't look like a top. Midday in Europe right now. Shrimp on the Barbie. Argentina. Matthias, good to have you here. This is what I'm looking for, is more of the European and the international audience. Part of the reason I'm wanting to cover, thought of the things I want to cover in this stream is the altcoin lending. If you're doing the long-term trading, as we talk about on this channel, and we're looking for the 1, 2, 3 bottom formations and the exponential moving average crossover as your entry, then we're holding these things for quite a long time. Right, Bitcoin and Ethereum, these moving averages crossed over here, and you would be holding this whole time on this 12-hour bar chart. As soon as you got into it on this crossover here, if you were fortunate enough to, then you would put your stop loss just below or just above your entry, and we would be biting our nails, waiting as this moving average didn't cross over, waiting to get our exit signal, but not. Staying in the market, staying in the market, staying in the market, all the way along, no matter all of these dips. We're biting our nails for sure, because it looks like a top formation, but it hasn't broken our moving average yet. So we're just like a Top Gun wingman. I will not leave my wingman. I will not leave my wingman. Stay in this trade while you're on this 12. And while we're doing this, we're just watching the markets. I'm paying more attention now to the lending markets for taking Bitcoin and putting it out and lending it. And then cancel the lending when I see it's coming up to my 12-hour moving average crossover, then get ready to liquidate my position. So I'm really stepping back and giving myself a lot more space in where I'm going to be jumping in and jumping out, and not being so freaked out about the moment. And then doing more lending. And the reason I want a more international audience is because you can do that along with me. I can get your comments and your feedback on how it's working for you, and we can help each other get better at it. And you can't do that if you're in the US. And a lot of my audience is in the US. So it's good to get up early and do these streams. So I want to go over Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Litecoin, US dollar, and take a look at these indicators. So I'm going to load my sweet chart because it comes up with these 3 indicators. And we can see on the 15-minute view, it's pretty crazy to be making decisions. But on the 1 hour view, Bitcoin's still getting tons of volume, still looking strong. The RSI is still increasing. 1 month view, look at that volume coming in. It still hasn't slowed down. In fact, as we zoom out more, We can see that this is still looking strong. All these indicators all the way along are looking up, up, up. On the 1 year view, this is looking stronger and building more strength. The on balance volume now is the thing I'm getting keen about, and the RSI is coming up to overbought conditions to super high level, highest it's been in this whole chart. Not until the 20K run did it get up to these super high overbought levels. So it is time to be watching for the top formation, but everything else is saying that there's more top to come in, more high to come in. This is another one that I like, is the 5 year view, so that we're seeing the long-term momentum, the long-term volume coming in, and we haven't seen the volume yet. All the way along, if we look back, this is the killer for me, is that we haven't seen the when come in yet that we've seen in the past. So the RSI is up at the top. We see this is looking strong. When the volume comes in, this is going to pop $5,000 in a day, and people are just going to drop their jaw. It's because this market cap of Bitcoin compared to the world's money market cap is unthinkably, the Bitcoin is so small compared to that. When the world's attention does turn here, it's going to go nuts. So keeping your Bitcoin and lending it rather than jumping in and out is probably the most wise thing to do that a lot of whales are doing, and I want to copy them. So I want to learn more about all of the lending opportunities. Now let's go over, this is Bitcoin. I want to go to Ethereum, US dollar, and refresh this chart. You are using exponential moving average cross of 20 and 60. It's from backtesting, Bart. I did the backtesting in this mega, that's the wrong one. We'll go over that chart in a second. But this is part of the backtesting that I've done, where here's the bull run from March to July 2017, December and January, May and April 2018. We have live studies of September, October, and I need to do another study of just now what we did from January until April 1st. That would be our next bull run to go over and to take screenshots of it and figure out the entries and exits that this trading pattern would have generated, because it's such a clear, simple trading plan. And so we see things like, I'm not seeing there we go, the column with the coin. So BitShares went up 2,470% in that bull run. And that was a trading signal from March 25th or thereabouts. Yeah, March 23rd until July 7th, when those 60-20 exponential moving averages crossed and when they uncrossed. So I tried to take these results as less work as possible, less thinking as possible, and leaving the trade in there until the exponential moving averages crossed over and selling after the top formation. So really a very patient trading system. And as I went through and did all this back testing, I changed the exponential moving averages this way and that, and I went through and did this data so that I could tell which one was the best for keeping me on the long term and not making me jump in and out. So if I'm using, let's go to Digibyte, it did 4,000%. I found that if I'm using the 4-hour exponential and different time frames, I would get chopped out on all of these moves here, and I would never stay in for the big run. So when I loosened it up a little bit and I found that the 60-20 with the exponential moving averages, it seemed to keep me in the markets through the volatility. It kept me enough distance that maybe the price manipulation didn't bite me as often as it did if I was trading too close. So now I want to go through Litecoin and Ethereum the same way and take a look at these indicators, because this is really looking great. And really the volume is just starting to come into Ethereum here at all. We're just gone positive in the 5-year. The RSI is only picking up to the midpoint, and our MACD indicator has crossed over and has just been as slow and steady as can be. There's been a massive accumulation set up here. The volume is coming down just before the breakout. So on a strong breakout, we could really see Ethereum taking off. Let's zoom into the 1-year view and see how these indicators are telling us. So I like it because we have a pretty steady accumulation of positive on balance volume here. A couple little spikes down, but overall, since the middle of February, there was a change right there, and it's been steady buying going on. So I like to see that as we're picking up to this breakout of this big 1, 2, 3 bottom formation. I like to see that the RSI is showing strength along with the price. And I also like this crossover of the MACD indicator and the histograms going positive here on this daily chart. So everything's looking positive on the daily chart as well. It's not giving me a top formation feeling here. 3-day view, 3-month view, so we're in the 12-hour chart, also looking strong. RSI is positive on this MACD indicator, is positive, a little bit of weakness here and going positive again. Stronger volume on this breakout than prior, but we do need to get more trading volume coming in on this. And zooming in, are we coming up to a top now? So if we zoom into the very point of it now, we're still getting volume, we're still getting good strong MACD. Now when we start getting into, what is this? The 1 hour time frame, we've got a double top, we've got RSI diverging and less volume, and the MACD has crossed over. So this is the kind of stuff I like to get into. So the long term, it's still giving me big bullish feeling, but right at the very tip of the point now, it's easing off. And this is pretty good volume here, but it's more selling volume all of a sudden. That's pretty cool. I'm glad to have you along, Bart. I've been doing these streams for a long time, but not consistently enough. So I do my own trading consistently, but the streams I've not been doing consistently enough. So I'm studying other streamers now and wanting to help more people with this trading method. It is such a simple trading method and it works out of these formations. So I want to work it better for myself, but also help other people. Then when I give you my trading plan, let's go over here. You can go over to digitalcurrencytraders.com and download my trading plan. There's the free chapter from my book, and you can download that for free. Then you get my trading plan and subscribe to the channel, follow along. I've been doing this trading plan for many years, and I would like your input on these as the markets move along. Everybody's trading off of the same page, basically, with the same lookout. We'd be able to alert each other for these hundreds of different markets that are making these formations. So now going into Ethereum US dollar, it is a potential top formation. And when we get into that 1 hour and we see that divergence there, it does look like it has the potential to be easing off, especially when we're zooming into the 5-minute view of these markets again and noticing the divergence between the recent Bitcoin high and the next high, where Ethereum and Litecoin made lower highs, and then they're consolidating here. They've got to punch up above that, and it breaks below these levels, all become sell signals now. Breaks below this trend line as it's topping out like that. All of that becomes a feather it in sell signal as it starts to break down below these levels, with your risk control rules right at hand ready, because this has been dipping down and charging up. If it dips down, it could be a sell, but of course it could reverse right away just like it has before. So short selling could be a great opportunity, and it's also super risky right now as we haven't actually topped and turned around. But the first indicator here, so that's why I'm digging into this. Now we've got this sort of information from Ethereum as we zoomed in from the long-term 5-year view and moved our way in. It was bullish, bullish, bullish until we got right to the 1 hour time frame and it started to ease off a little bit. Now let's do the same thing for Litecoin US dollar in the 5-year view. Okay, so the MACD indicator crossed over, but it actually feels like it's losing a bit of momentum here. Not strongly enough to say. And, whoops, sorry. Let's go back to that MACD indicator, because this crossover here, where the green goes way higher and keeps going wider, 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 wider than the red, then we see this pull back. This is where we're going to be really paying attention. This divergence and cross, even before the cross, we want to pay attention. So as soon as this starts to ease off and the red is easing off, but they're still spread apart, we're going to be paying attention to that, because this is right, it's after the top in the 5-year view. So it's a week late actually. Now for Litecoin, the volume hasn't picked up compared to the past. We haven't seen anything yet. The RSI is still looking strong and still hasn't, and it's right on the trend line, which is good. with the Bitcoin RSI, it's not on the trend line. It's higher than the trend line. I'm expecting it to pull back to that trend line and give us a pullback. That's what I'm watching for here. Now let's clear that off and go into the 1 year view. And we're looking at a divergence in the RSI. Already we're seeing a change where we're seeing strong on balance volume and weaker here. The crossover of the MACD already occurred, yet we've had a recrossover and a change to more positive here, and the RSI is supporting this strength right here. So a little bit less volume, but just at the tip it seems to be stronger from this view at the 1 day chart. So when I look at this in the super long-term view, I'm still bullish and thinking that this has a double to come right away. If Bitcoin is going to be doing something and has the potential to be going as it's going straight up right now, I want to be aware that there's a potential for that in Litecoin and Ethereum too, which is why I'm studying these here today. So as this is that way, we've got this record, we can go back and look at it and say, what was it doing on this day? What were these indicators saying exactly on this day? So doing these regularly is important so that we have that data to go back to on that specific day. Here we are looking at some pretty good strong volume. This is much stronger looking than Ethereum on the 4-hour chart. Ethereum is still looking strong on the 4-hour chart, but this is looking better. When we go to the 1 hour, then this is also fading off where we have the double top here and we have RSI easing off. We have on balance going negative. We have the crossover of the histogram. So on the 1 hour, both Litecoin and Ethereum agree that it's a top formation. Bitstamp 5-year view of Bitcoin. So the 5-year view of Bitcoin, same thing. We've got the positive volume. We've got the RSI going on. We've got this crossover looking positive. Everything looks good on the weekly. Zoom into the 1 day, still looks positive. We have some good strong volume. RSI is up to some pretty crazy levels. That's a little bit bearish. It's double topped at these 2 levels, so that's a little bit bearish. Not much. Still looking good. Then we zoom into the 12 hours, still looking good. The RSI is good, but volume is coming up really nice. The MACD indicator is still very strong. We are not seeing this MACD indicator yet start to give us way that the green is easing off. It's still spreading wider, and the histogram is still stronger than it was in the past. And that's the 12-hour view, so it's still looking amazing, and we're in the longer term, got to take perspective on this volume. It's good right now, but it's nothing compared to what we've had in the past. So now let's go back to that 12-hour view. So while this looks good, there's still lots of room for this to go way higher in volume. Now when we get closer in, we're at the 4-hour, we're starting to see a little bit of an ease off here. The RSI is just dipping back a little bit. The volume still looks strong compared to what we had before. Now I'm keen to see what's at the 1 hour time frame. Does the RSI diverge strongly? A little bit, not too much. It's just that such an overbought. Then the unbalanced volume is getting weaker at this point here. We didn't see that kind of weakness earlier, not to this extent. So this is greater weakness that we're seeing on the 1 hour time frame, and yet the MACD itself hasn't crossed over. It's coming close, but it hasn't crossed over yet. The histogram is still positive. Zoom into the closer time frame, the 15-minute. Now we're looking at more of a top formation. There is more of a divergence here in the MACD. So we have higher highs, lower highs, lower highs, lower highs. All of this is divergence that matches what Litecoin and Ethereum are showing us on the closer in time frames, that these are really potential top formations to be paying close attention to. Let me zoom in on just the price of Bitcoin here. 1 day view. So we're on the 5-minute bars. This is zoomed right in now to decision-making time. We've got all of our indicators telling us what may be. Now it's time to be watching to see what actually turns out. So we'll watch the US dollar price of these coins. We'll watch these top formations unfold. And then we'll watch the Bitcoin price of them as well, as these are potential top formations against the price in Bitcoin as well. I am expecting Litecoin and Ethereum to hesitate here and then follow Bitcoin. And I might be wrong because the Bitcoin dominance is increasing and the altcoin market cap here is making a top formation in the short term. Double top here. So here's the altcoin market cap over long period of time. What is this? 5-year view. So on the weekly, we can see how much volume there is in this altcoin trading. Huge volume coming up here out of this 1, 2, 3 bottom formation, so that it looks like the altcoin market cap is going to be really increasing. At the same time, that if Bitcoin dominance rises strongly as it may right now, then that suggests to me that the altcoins are going to continue getting crushed. And you can see this chart here at the bottom of the screen. This is a study that we do on the bull market and cryptos, and we don't really have a bull market right now. Oh, let me find that. I'll grab another copy of that. So this is our bull market watch study, and we are not watching for much of a bull market right now. You can see the red is the bearishness index, the green is the bullishness index, and we are not seeing any bull market at all right now in these cryptos. There's nothing to trade. Pretty much you should be out of cryptos entirely and into Bitcoin about 3 weeks ago, which is not helpful if you're holding your alts. And so we'll continue to watch through the bull market watch, and we'll see where all of these alts are. You can see in the color coding down below here, red means it's failed. It's down to historical lows. It's gone below the recent lows from last September, October, November, December, January, and it's now at new lows that it hasn't been at since some of them. This is the newest low, the lowest in the whole project history. Some of them it's getting down to, but you can see all of them are pretty much red or orange, which means they are all nearly failing or they have already failed. So it's going to be a while before these turn around for our simple trading plan and give us a trading signal. So in the meantime, you should be holding Bitcoin. It should be out for lending, if not, trading it in some way, so that you're slowly growing it without any risk. And then we just zoom in and watch these markets now until we see some of those altcoins start to recover. So if we just go through a few of them, Atom, which is new on Poloniex, is still downtrending, not making a bottom formation. It's giving us 3 tips off the bottom, so we'll watch for this to consolidate and turn around, but nothing yet. BitShares is still on a downtrend. We've got a low, and it's a little bit higher, so it's a potential for a 1, 2, 3 bottom, but nothing yet for any kind of trading signal. I'm looking at the 15-minute bar. If I look at the 4-hour bar, look at our exponential moving average crossovers, nowhere. So this is a market just to be not holding and not doing any, not even preparing. Clam, however, has been a great one for a hold and continue to hold because these exponential moving averages haven't crossed over. There's going to be some volatility come into this for sure, but it really could go up 10 times. What do you think about the pattern we've seen? Mikitano says, what do you think about the pattern we've seen in the last year after Bitcoin rise and then the decrease cycle and what we're seeing in the alts afterwards? Actually, BitShares is a good market for going over that. So if I go to the 5-year view of BitShares, and I want to bring up this study. This chart here that I have highlighted shows that cycle up until October when I finished this, when I did this screenshot. So from March of 2017 until July, we know that there was the massive altcoin bull market. And when you look at it compared to the price of Bitcoin right here, Bitcoin was going up at the same time. But this doesn't really show us what led up to this switch over here from May of 2016 until March of 2017. That's almost an entire year where Bitcoin went up in price and altcoins got hammered and hammered and hammered, and they all went down, 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 down. So in March of 2017, alts were at their bottom. Bitcoin started to go up, and they started to go up along with it. It wasn't until about July the 10th or around the middle of July that a switch happened. Bitcoin started to go up and all the altcoins started to go down. At this time, I held all my altcoins watching for a bottom formation that they would continue and go along with Bitcoin. But they just continued to get crushed and crushed and crushed until December of 2017, when Bitcoin topped all of the alts. It's like it was a cork being held underwater. They just rushed up. And immediately, Bitcoin dominance started to pick up again and the alts went into a bear market. Funny enough, in March of 2018, Bitcoin and altcoins started going up together. Then they started going down together. As Bitcoin went up, altcoins went down. As Bitcoin went down, altcoins went down, 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 down. And now we are where we are. And the altcoins are actually about 10 times more valuable than they were at the same Bitcoin or Satoshi level that they were back in 2016. So with this demonstrating the ebb and flow of when the altcoins were going bull and bear and how it actually matched Bitcoin. It was opposite to Bitcoin, the same as Bitcoin, opposite to Bitcoin, or actually the same here through here. So it was a bear market for Bitcoin and for altcoins. Now we're going to be watching for that switch around. And we can watch it really well in BitShares. Just because I'm familiar with going over the history of this, I can pull it up quickly. May of 2016 is, I think, where we are sort of right now in Bitcoin prices. We've done this breakout and it's jumped up. Altcoins had a little run up from January until beginning of April. And then for this month, they've been going down. Bitcoin, I think, is going to pull back. And the alts are going to do more than they did in 2016. I think they're going to do more. But this is what happened here, where as Bitcoin went up, the alts just slowly got hammered and squished and squished. Now the alt market cap went up. So your US dollar of your account was going up while your Bitcoin value of your alts was going down. So you gained, but you would have gained much better if you would have been holding Bitcoin. And in fact, I would have doubled my profits if I'd have just jumped out of altcoins entirely and held only Bitcoin until this time. It was such a profound difference. And now we see the breakout here where alts started to go along with Bitcoin. And it's a huge breakout where Bitcoin pulled back a little bit, consolidated. And then who knows what the why, but at this time, all of the alts started doing the same thing. They all started to go up with Bitcoin. So the two of them going up really made altcoins, just blast. It was crazy. Tens of thousands of dollars made in such a short period of time. And so I don't know when the next one is, but we do know that the last one was here. And it marked itself in every different market all at the same time. And I was watching for alts to be continuing to go up. So as prices did this after the move, I was lulling myself into a sense of security that alts were going to be going up with Bitcoin. And just for personal reasons, I wasn't really trading and watching the markets through this time. I wasn't doing the videos at a critical time when my trading signal was telling me to take action. And so this regular routine of doing this is a key part of success. Key part of success, because you've got to be paying attention when the pitcher throws the ball. You've got to be ready to bat. So now we're paying attention and we're watching Bitcoin dominance. We're zooming into it. We're watching for a top formation in Bitcoin dominance. It's done a huge run up here. And so I'm expecting, it's just what I watch for. Now when it's going up, I'm watching for a top formation. When it's coming down, I'm watching for a bottom formation. And we'll compare that against the altcoin market cap, and we'll keep an eye on this, knowing that last time the altcoin market cap went up while the Bitcoin dominance was going up. So it still would have been a better idea to be holding Bitcoin. And there will be a time when the altcoins are going to take off. And this is what we're watching for daily now, is this moment when we have the big capitulation and we start to see this turnaround unfolding across all of the coins. And that's one of the reasons I do this scan of all of the coins, so that we're not just taking a subjective view on, is this the bull market, is this the bear market? This is much more objective, where we have the numbers of how many of them are bear, how many of them are turning, and what point is that turning. If I bring this chart up and I go to the full study, you can watch it unfold here from early January, when I first started doing it in this format. I was doing this in September, but I changed the spreadsheet format here so that it was up and down through time. So we could follow BitShares all the way along here as it was neutral, looking like it was going to be a buy. Then it said, no, it's a cold fish, don't buy it. Looking neutral again, kind of an alert. No, back to don't buy, back to neutral, looking pretty good. It's an alert. It could be a buy signal. And you see this unfolding across all of these coins through time. And as we get to February, middle of February, everything's all turning in from alerts into buys. All of it from alerts into buys. And we can see it all unfolding here from February through March until April. So there was 6 weeks of time. Then April 2nd, April 3rd, 4th, 5th, should have been closing all of them. And I wasn't doing the live stream daily. This would have been full of all sorts of blue for cold fish to get out of the market. And that's what we'll continue to do now as we're doing this stream. So be sure to subscribe so you come back to this stream, and we'll continue to update this spreadsheet so that over time we're going to see when that bottom actually happens. We'll see that en masse everything is going into alert status. It's almost the 1, 2, 3 bottom formation turnaround change. This is going to keep us out of the fake out breakouts as prices are coming down and they pop up real sharp and we get all excited and then they retrace all the way back down. We want to stay out of those short time frame trades. We want to stay out of those short time frame trades because they just take up so much time buying into these breakouts, and then they fade back. You make such a little bit of profit on them. You have to be so alert and aware of them. We're going to step back and trade when the exponential moving averages cross over on a 12-hour time frame. And it's going to take a while. So right now, I would recommend that either Bitcoin or stablecoin rather than alts. And we'll continue to watch these play out because it'll tell us. On average, we'll see it all. So I just wanted to do this live stream to capture what's going on these two charts with the formations that we're hitting here. I'm happy to have gone through and looked at the indicators underneath all of them. So it gives me the type of feeling that we are at a potential top formation and everything is looking like we're just easing off right now. So then we'll tune in later today. We'll update this again and we'll see where these guys are going. Hey, AOL Chandra, you're up and at 'em early. I am waiting for possible capitulation on Bitcoin. No, not a capitulation on Bitcoin. I'm waiting for a top formation there, but I'm waiting for the capitulation on altcoins. So that would be, let's go to Poloniex dash XMR, go to a 5-year view. So capitulation is what happens when people just can't take it anymore. They bought in on the breakout and it's coming down and they're holding, but finally they just can't take it anymore and they sell out. Usually at the very bottom, and somebody with a big amount of it will sell at the market. They just don't care. They're going to get rid of it for whatever price and it'll drive the market way, way down. I got a sneeze coming. This 200 period moving average crossing over the 20 period moving average is really key as well. So this is pretty bearish. Pretty bearish overall for that. And I recall having thoughts that this was going to be pulling back a good 50% from this range here. I was feeling that the anonymous coins would be regulated and that eventually this whole thing with the anonymous coins would be shut down by the Security and Exchange Commission because they can't track your transactions to tax you properly on it. They're going to love Bitcoin that they can track everything. This is my thinking. And so I thought that the privacy coins would get hammered and that I'm expecting a big drop in them. And I was watching for a bottom a trend continuation failure here. It has come down, but since then I've turned more bullish on the whole market. So now for a capitulation low, there's three things we're watching for. Let me clear this chart, drag it forward, and draw out what I want to see in the capitulation. So just a long, and then I want to see the parabolic drop, then a bounce, and then a consolidation before prices are proving to us that they are going to be going higher. And I don't want to take any action through all of this. I don't want to be watching, trying to get in and jump this knife and get this profit out of this quick move here. I don't want to be, because if I'm seeing it happening, I think it's looking strong and I'm buying in, as soon as it's moving, I'm too late. Maybe if I happen to be watching and I can see a little 1, 2, 3 bottom formation on a 5-minute time frame and everything's all looking good, I might take a position in something like this. But generally, I want to wait until after this has all happened and then be taking my position. So this is proof of the capitulation and that the market is digested it and is going the other way. I'm looking for the parabolic down and the V-shaped recovery and then the consolidation. And we'll see if we actually have those things turn out. We'll watch for them and we'll just continue to update everything about them as they unfold. So that about wraps it up for this stream right now. XMR does look like it's going down. Glad I sold mine. But everything looks like it's going down. I think alts are going to get absolutely hammered. We're at 59% Bitcoin dominance. And there's room for it to go to 70% where it hasn't been in years. The world climate is favorable to Bitcoin. They most of them haven't heard about Bitcoin. They haven't heard about altcoins either. So as they're learning about Bitcoin and the world economy starts turning toward it, it could be crazy. So hold and lend and watch for consolidation patterns before taking any other trading decisions. This one could be a short right out of this pattern. This is all building up to a short as we've been seeing earlier. So tune in later today. We'll follow along with this to see, did Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Litecoin turn into short trades out of this top formation? Did our indicators actually show us the bullishness on the 5-year, the 1-year, the 4-hour, and the 12-hour? And then when we got into the 1-hour time frame, it started to diverge. We started to see weakness coming in there. We'll see in a few hours if this actually turned out one way or the other. So I appreciate you guys being here again. Thanks again, Mikitano. I hope to see you on the next live stream, likely earlier tomorrow morning, and we'll zoom in on this same thing again as a routine basis so that we are keeping right on our trading plan as this is unfolding. Yes, indeed, guys, go give your mom a hug. If it's Mother's Day where you are, it's Mother's Day here in Canada. Cheers. All the best, and we'll see you next time.